Backstage here at the Patchogue Theatre with a legendary actor, movie star, singing star, TV star, radio star, Danny Aiello. Danny, always a pleasure.
Oh,
Danny, it's amazing because I love New York guys, right? You were born in
I was born on West 68th Street, New York City. A lot of people think Brooklyn or the Bronx, but no.
Right. It was Manhattan.
I'm very proud of being a Manhattanite. There are very few of us left, you know. Native New Yorkers, Manhattan.
Manhattan.
But I get a lot of credit for Brooklyn. I've been to Brooklyn maybe 5 times in my life.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say because it is a beautiful borough.
But you're a big Yankee fan, right?
Oh, well, I'm a little less. I'm not a Jeter fan. Let me say it that way. I think it's, they're comparing them to guys like Ruth and Garrick. I want to smack them in the face. I mean, that's how I feel. But I'm a Yankee fan.
You are a Yankee fan.
My nephew is Michael K., so I'm obligated. It's my sister Rosebud gave birth to this Michael K.
And Michael K. is your nephew, right?
Yeah, and he's a good boy.
That's a fantastic job.
Well, he had a dream all of his life because he didn't excel in playing ball.
Right.
He didn't have the ability. He played like most playground kids, but he didn't have the ability to be a pro player. Yeah. But he always had a dream as a child to be a Yankee announcer.
And he did it.
Is that not incredible?
And he did it.
He made it.
And he's great. He's great.
He does very well. I like him.
I used to love Mel Allen.
Well, Mel was mine. If we grow up with Mel, we don't accept anybody else.
That's right.
And we love, Gowdy.
Yep.
Gowdy was here.
Phil Rizzuto did a great
Phil
job.
was Red Bob.
Red Bob.
Red Bob was one of, and Phil was great.
Was he great? Holy cow.
Well, I loved him. He was an Italian.
Great both.
I loved him. And, but I don't go to as many games as I should. Michael invites me. As a matter of fact, George Steinbrenner, his son, invites me frequently, but I don't like sitting in their box.
In the booth?
Not that
high up.
Yeah, it's beautiful to be there, but I have to be near the grass. If they don't give me a seat where the grass is and I can watch the game that way, I'm not particularly involved with that.
Now you said Michael K. had a dream. You also had a dream about becoming a singer, didn't you?
No, well, I never thought that I could. I was somewhat embarrassed to even attempt to do it. However, I was a bathroom singer for a long period of time. You know, I'd sit in the toilet bowl and sing, or I'll take a shower.
Did you sing doo-wops with the guys?
No,
never got into that, right?
You want to know something? It was before doo-wop. But we did what the doo-wops did. We used to sit, we did things like Frankie and Johnny. Yeah. You're mine and we belong together. We used to do all of that stuff, and we used to get water thrown down. I mean, that's not a joke, that's true. We would go in the backyards and the water would come peeling out, screaming, "What are you doing, Daddy? We're singing," And so I did that. However, I had my mother got me. I don't know how she got it because we were very poor at the time, living on, well, actually, we were in the Bronx at this time, and she got me an audition for the old Arthur Godfrey talent show. Now, the Arthur Godfrey show at that time was tantamount to what American Idol is today. I mean, it was huge. I don't know if you remember. Julius LaRosa came through.
He's coming here soon, Julius
I loved Julius.
And Anne-Marie,
I know. I loved them. So it was tantamount to that. But when we were singing, what was the point of it?
American Idol.
Oh, American Idol. I went over American Idol. So I went down for the audition. And we were sitting in a vestibule, my mother and I, and they were calling out names, and I was terrified. I was a skinny little kid with a missing tooth. I was terrible. I didn't think I could sing. My mother thought I was great. So I said, "Mom, can I go to the bathroom?" And I went to the bathroom, and God bless, I never came back. That was the last time I had ever attempted to audition. All the years went by. 6 years ago, I did my first album because someone asked me. And simply because I didn't have the guts to do it. And if I tell you, now I've been an actor now for a number of years. And I've been.
How many years?
Well, actually, I started in 1972 for Do the Numbers, so it's been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, Bobby De Niro and Al Pacino started about 9 years ahead of me. So I came in at the age of 36 as a rookie.
Yeah,
I was telling people, I hadn't been around that long, but now I think of 1972, it's a hell of a long time.
Yeah. What did you do before the acting?
I was the president of the Greyhound Union in New York City. I was the public address announcer for Greyhound, and I went on to become the president. I was the guy, if you walk by the 50th Street Terminal, you heard, "May I have your attention, please? The coach of Philadelphia, Chester, Wilmington, Dover, Seaford, Laurel, Salisbury, Princess Anne, Pocomoke City, Kiptobeke Beach, Little Creek, and Norfolk. This coach
You remember the cities
This coach connects from Jersey City for Newark, Montclair, Denville, Dover, Bud Lake, Hackettstown, Stroudsburg, Mount Pocono, Tobyhanna, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Clark, Summit, Nicholson, Halstead, Great Bend, Binghamton, Cortland, Ithaca, Geneva, Canandaigua, Pittston, Towanda, Waverly, Elmira, Corning, Bath, Batavia, Hornell, Mount Morris,
Unbelievable. You still remember it?
My mother said to me, if you don't work out acting, you can always go back to calling buses. When I became the union president there, I lost a job as a result of the Wildcat strike. I went to the improvisation, a comedy joint in New York.
Yeah, that's right. It's when you memorize, I mean, you remember, I'm bewildered by this, how you memorize just that alone, with the bus, where the bus is going. In acting itself, how do you do this? How do you do these lines to get?
Do you want to know something? All it is, Mickey, is God's truth. You have to keep practicing, and you'll get it. What happens to people is when they finally have to do it, they get nervous. And once they get nervous, the memory goes out the window. It has nothing to do with memory. It has to do with the fright of not remembering. That's the truth. Now, I just did a show called The Shoemaker, in which I had 55 pages of dialogue. And right after coming out of Capone, which is a 69-page piece with 22 songs. Now, I was terrified about doing it, I did it. And I did the show off Broadway, The Shoemaker, and now we're getting ready to do Capone. But you keep working it. I tell you, when I'm on the stage, I'm always frightened backstage. I look up and I said, Mama, don't let me make a fool out of myself. And I walk out. And before walking out, I also say to myself, how am I going to remember these lines? How am I going to remember? And it just happens that you do. But trust me, if you don't remember something, it's usually because you're afraid to do it, especially if you're going to perform it in front of somebody.
Do you know, I introduced Joan Rivers, the Catskill Mountains.
Sweetheart.
Joan had done about 100 Johnny Carson shows. And she was walking back and forth. I said, Joan, why are you so nervous? She says, I don't know how this Jewish audience is going to handle me. I said, after 100 Johnny Carson shows? You know, and I've seen all these guys, everybody.
Are you Jewish?
I'm Jewish, yeah.
You know, my wife is.
Jewish, what kind of friends?
My wife's a Cohen. You know, she's
Is she a Cohen? Really?
She's a high priestess. Are you serious? She slaps the shit out of me every day. Couldn't you say that on the show?
We'll
bleep it.
But that's very interesting.
Yeah, Sandy's we've been together 57 years.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a great lady.
So she really gives you kosher kitchen and everything in the house?
I can't stand the smell of chopped liver. Now forgive me, it has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with the smell of chopped liver. And I do not like the smell of gefilte fish, and I'm not a fish eater. I'm one of the few Italians in the world that does not like the fish.
Yeah, they don't like the fish.
But no, we're American cuisine. But she's Jewish.
Danny, your history. I mean, you're a legend in this business. A lot of people may not recognize, or you may not recognize, how many people love you and how many people like you, and you're a very down-to-earth guy. Accolades. What stands out in your mind with all these movies and everything you've done? What's the highest thing that you could possibly think of?
The interesting thing is I was nominated for Academy Award, and I won an Academy Award for a short film called Lieberman in Love, in which I played a Jewish guy. And Christine Lottie directed me in it. And it got all sorts of fanfare, but you don't get it as an actor, it gets it as the piece, but I was the star and she was. I think the highest moment of my life in this genre, I'm talking about